So today I want us to talk about the Django REST Framework. So Django REST Framework is used to create API in Django. So let's go about it. First, I'm going to create a new project here. So we're going to start with the virtual environment first. So Python manage.py. I'm sorry. Python -m venv to create our virtual environment. So once it's created, let's activate it. Source venv /bin /activate. So our virtual environment is activated. Now we can install our packages. So first one we're going to install is Django. So pip install Django. So from there we can use Django admin to create our project. Django -admin start project. Let's call it let's call it DRF. So Django REST Framework. So when we are less now, it has created a DRF. So the best way to do this is I usually don't want a Django to create another directory inside here. So the best way to run this command to create a project, then you add a dot. So the Django will create the project but will not add it to another directory. So it will be created just here. The manage.py will be here. So let's do that. And when we are less now, you can see there is manage.py is there. So meaning this is our project's source. So now that's done, let's open this in our Visual Studio Code. So now we have let's trust this. Now we have our manage.py and settings. So we can work with manage.py from here. Let's open a new terminal window. I'm going to close this. So virtual environment is already activated. As you can see here, there is this venv. So the next thing we're going to do is to start an app. So we're going to say Python manage.py start app. Let's give it a name like main. So it has created our app main. So the next thing we're going to do is add this main to our setting.py. Tell Django that we have an app called main. So going to install the app on our setting.py. Add the main here. We can use any, but let's maintain the convention of one. So like that. So now we have added our app on settings. The next thing we are going to do is to go to our app on the models.py. We create our first model that we're going to use to showcase the Django REST Framework. Okay. So let's open our model. Okay. So we're going to say class. Let's give it a blog. Let's this class in model import from models dot model. That the first field we want in our blog, let's say name, which is equal to models dot char field. Give it a max length is equal to let's say 40. Then let's say author, you want the author as equal models chair field again. I'm just creating a model to just a simple model that we can use to showcase the API. We can manipulate it using API. So let's give it also max length also. Alright, maybe content is equal to models dot we have text or something, say text field max length 400 or something. So that's our model. I see my laptop is shutting down, my power is down. Let me take a charger before it hibernates. Sorry about that. Okay, I think we're good to go. Have a few things here. Okay, we're good to go. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is, now that we have our model that we can manipulate using the Django REST framework, the next thing I'm going to do is let's create a serializer .py in our app. So this is a new file that we're going to create here. Serializer .py. serializers.py. So before we use this file, we need to install our Django REST framework. So we're going to say pip install Django REST framework. So successful install. So the first thing you're going to do is we're going to import serializers from REST framework. So import from Django REST framework. Oh, and I forgot something. We're gonna need to add a REST framework to our settings here. REST underscore framework. I think that's it. Yeah, let me check there. There's also a documentation for Django REST framework. DRF. So here is it. It is. So you can see Django REST framework is a powerful and flexible tool for building web APIs. So for your app in Django app, you need REST framework to build your strong. It's powerful. Yeah. So let's go to installation. You see, I've said we need to add REST framework, REST underscore framework in our installed apps, and also I've done also this pip install Django REST framework, pip install markdown to support. So there's all those a quick start. So now that we are good to go, let's continue here. So we have already added our REST framework to this place here. So let's go back to the serializer from REST underscore framework, import serializers. So we have already imported that. Next thing we are going to import is the model that we have created, the blog model, this one here, the blog model. So from dot from dot models import blog. Yeah, so we have imported our serializers blog model, so it's now to use, it's time to use it. So first things first, we are going to need to create a class. So let's say class blog post serializer, then import the serializer dot model dot serializer, then we give it a class meta. So the class meta is sort of, it gives it information about the class, like the model is being used, the fields are there. So let's go and have a practical look at this. So like I said, we're going to create a class. Let's call it blog post serializer. Blog post serializer, then import now, use serializers here dot models. So dot model serializer here. So our class is using the model serializers in serializers that we have imported from REST framework. So the next thing we're going to do is do this. You don't need to cram these things, they are always available and it's not that hard also. So next thing we're going to do is class meta here. Just give information about what is going on, the blog that is being used, the model that's being used. So here we're going to say model is equal to blog, time to use blog that we have imported now. Then fields is equal to, so here we're going to use array to show the fields that we want to use on the field that are on this blog post that we want to use in our APIs. So that's it. Then fields one by one here. Let's use the convention of one quote. So our model had a name, author, content. So name, author, then content. So that's it, name, author, content. So we have given it the fields and the model. So let's move to the next step where we'll configure the URLs py file, and also let's move to that URL file. So to use our URL, there are two ways that we can use URLs. There is a app specific URL and the main urls.py that is created when you have created your Django project. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So there's this URL, you see it has admin already. So what I usually do to load this our app and this main project, so I normally want to create a file here on our main app for its own URL. So let's create this urls.py. So what I normally do, come to this main URL here. Where is it? Just copy this. Let's copy this. Come to your main URL here, paste it here. Then just remove this URL. You don't need this. Then you're good to go. So to use URLs, you just create our paths here, the paths of our app. Then you just need to go to your main URL here now to tell Django that there is another URL file that I want you to check when you are checking for URLs. So you're going to import include here. Of course, if you have checked my previous tutorials, I've talked about this, but this is the one for Django REST Framework. I want to show every step. So just create a new path, give it just quotes, don't name any. You can give it slash something slash main, but for now let's tell Django if you're looking for all the URLs, also check these files. So we're going to say include, let's include. So here you're going to tell it, I want you to check the app, that's our main, and the file called .urls. So don't say urls.py, it won't work. Say main.urls. So then close your path. So now that you've configured your URLs, they map to each other, the main Django URLs and the main major app or project URLs. The next thing we're going to our views.py app to start creating our views that will be used by our URLs. Sorry for that. So on our views.py, we can create our views here. We need to import some few things here. So first let's import we need to import our serializer, import our model, and then import the generics from REST framework. So let's do that. From dot import dot models, import our blog, then we import our generics from REST framework. From REST underscore framework, import generics. From dot serializers, let's import our blog serializer. So blog post serializer, what do we call it? Yeah, blog post serializers. From the serializer, import blog post serializer. Yeah, so we have imported all our three things that we need to create our views. So let's see, we are going to do is in our URLs we need to in our views we need to create a class-based view that we're going to render when using our URLs. So let's create our first class-based views. So we're going to say class blog post list create. We're going to use that because we are using the list create API view from generics. You'll see that in a moment. So blog post class blog post list create. So let's use generics dot list create API view, that one. So we're going to give it a query set is equal to blog post dot object. So let's give it a blog dot object dot all. So we're fetching all objects in our blog. Another thing is a serializer. Give it a serializer class. So we're going to say that the serializer class is the blog post serializer that we have created on our serializer file. So blog post serializer and our view is set and ready to use because we have used, so you can see that we have used all the imports now, the blog posts and the blog post serializer, and also the generic serializer from the generics from REST framework. So now that our view is done, we can configure our URLs, the minor one here. So we can say import view from, we can import views. So from dot import views. So here we can create a new path now. Path. Let's give it something like /API, or we can leave it to our home page, but let's give it /API. So when you go to API, now we are going to have that. So so that's our path. The next thing we're going to do is use views dot blog post list create. Then we're going to render it using, there's a something that's renders it as a view. So dot as view, something like that. Yes. And then we can use we can say name is equal to something like blog post list create. So give it a name, blog post list create. What have I done? List create. So there you have it, your URL, and everything is set up. I think we are going to use first of all, let's run the server, but before that we need to run our migrations. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Python manage.py run server. It will tell us that we have 18 migrations that have not been applied. So let's do that. Python manage.py make migrations. So it's created a model blog. So next thing, Python manage.py migrate. So I'm migrating. Then we're going to Python manage.py run our server. So our server is running at 127 our local. So we're going to create that. So it says page not found. So page not found, you know why? Because we are not going through our this is our home, but we have not assigned it to any URL. So when we go to /admin, we are going to have and /API. So we need to go /API / and then you have it, there you have it, Django REST Framework blog post create. So we are getting the data that's in our model, but for now we have not created any data inside it. So it's only getting options like to get data that's inside. So the next thing, we are going to create new generic views that we can able to add data, retrieve and update. So we are going to create a view that's responsible for that. So this one is for viewing data that is already inside the database. So let's create that view and let's work on this quickly. I've gone this video for too long now. Let's go for the views. Let's create another class. It's called blog post retrieve, update and destroy. So retrieve, update destroy. Going to generics dot retrieve update destroy API views. So retrieve, update, and destroy. There we have it. Then we're going to give it a query set again. Blog post. Going to fetch the blog post object dot all. So serializer class again. It's the blog post serializer. So we have the serializer class and the query set. So we are going to give it something that's called lookup field. So lookup field is equal to primary key. So when you are deleting, it should look for primary key as a guide. So let's give it pk, and that's done. So let's go to our URLs now. Let's create another URL path. So we're going to give it a path. These paths should be specific. So now we are going to pass in a primary key as an integer. So let's create that path. Let's give that API /. So now we have to pass our primary key as an integer. So I'm going to say int for colon pk, close that, then import this to be outside here, then import views dot blog post retrieve, update, and destroy dot as view. Then give this a name, call it whatever you want. Retrieve, I'm getting this. Retrieve, update, destroy. So there we have it. Our path, second path is done, and this will enable us to look at the data inside here, pass on the data that's already in the database. This will be able to create. So let's check this our server and run this again here. See if we have any errors. Yeah, query set blog post dot object dot all is not recorded. So we have an error. Go to our views. Here, pass this and see. So our server is running now. So let's try to post data. And post. So now that we are done that, you can see that there was data that was being created. Name, handbag, author, content. So let's say name Elijah, author also Elijah Kanya, and the content is I love coding. So that's our content. So let's post. So the data are also been created. Now when we fetch the first URL that is get, we're going to see two blog posts. So now we have created two blog posts, but now we're going to see here is this JSON here. The first blog is here, the first data content is here. So that's it for the Django REST framework that tutorial had. If you want me to go deeper, so you can use this this you can create more views that are there are more generic views and also customizable views. So this now you can use it on your project like React to fetch the data. You create your endpoints and it will fetch the data in your Django application. So that's it. You should know that API are so important in our nowadays development, because it enables different applications to interact together, because you can use React and Django. So without APIs, I don't think there's a way that you can interact through those two applications. So that's it for today, and signing out.